Traders, welcome to an episode of the Blufx podcast where we're going to talk everything trading. Today we've got a fantastic guest on for you today, Marco, representing the United States. It's always good to have some of the American traders here to talk to you about their experience. We're going to talk to Marco a little bit today about his experience trading, where he found out about trading, what pointers he would give to some beginner traders, and really show you some good insight into how things run here at Blufx. So Marco, I'll hand over to you if you want to give yourself a little introduction.
All right, Christian, thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to be part of your podcast and talk about my trading experience for new traders. People that are looking to get into trading. My experience, my thoughts and process of how I look at the market. Hopefully this can help a lot of people, get more comfortable when it comes to trading because trading it's not as easy as it seems, but it's more mental than what it is, your markups and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the important thing. I mean, do you know what? As I say, part of the big thing here at Blufx is making sure trading's accessible to everybody who wants to be part of the markets. And to see someone like yourself, down to earth, pretty level guy, that's the way we want to put ourselves across at Blufx. And you're a fantastic mascot for that. I mean, what I'll say is your trading performance is really good. We can see, of course, how our traders are all performing. And to see you're a fantastic trader. You are obviously a very talented person when it comes to trading the financial markets, and to have you here today to answer some questions and sort of give some insight into how things are operated here at Blufx is fantastic. So thank you for being with me. I'm going to start with some simple questions straight up forward. What we'll start with is, where did you find out about trading? Where did that initial interest in trading come from?
Well, to be honest, Christian, I've been interested in trading. The first time that I looked at the market was stocks. I was probably, this was in the year 2000, 2002 when I looked into stocks, but I never understood anything, so at that time I was very young and, it's very innocent and I just couldn't find a way to look at, how to trade, because what I was looking at is that you need a lot of money for trading. So I kind of left it alone. That was my my first experience when it came to trading. I didn't have the money, so I just left it alone. And fast forward about 2015, I was doing MLM network marketing, and I found a group of people online on Facebook, and they were talking about this trading thing, Forex and things like that. Before, back in the days when this started being more retail, a lot of people were talking about, turn 25 cents into $1 like in 5 minutes, and that very interesting.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I was like, well, if I can turn 25 cents to $1, I can turn 25 into 100, or 2,500 into 100,000, so that was my first experience with trading. They created this Facebook group, and then everybody was just joining. It was a lot of people that came together as a group. Nobody pretty much knew anything, and we were just kind of finding out more. People started posting videos on how to do trading and things like that. So I got involved. I had a following back in the days in 2015, and I started bringing in my friends and things like that. So 2015 is when everything started. I didn't know anything, but I know I was very excited to learn about trading because I always wanted to find out what it was about.
Good. I think, do you know what? That story is kind of hits home for me. I remember back in the day, it's the same sort of thing, right? You get involved thinking you can turn £1 into £100 or $1 into $100 in the space of such a short amount of time. But actually, it's if you're going to trade in that way, if you're going to believe that sort of thing, and if you're going to risk so much on a trade, it's only going to happen. Only one thing is going to happen, right? And you're going to take that account back to zero. So it's really, for me, I remember one of my first stock investments was AMD, and anybody who knows me is a trader or investor. AMD was my baby. I loved AMD, everything about it. I knew a little bit of the fundamentals, and the worst possible thing happened to me was that I bought the stock at maybe $8 or $9, and I rode it up to 30 or something ridiculous. And do you know what? When you hit the first one, you take a swing. It's like baseball. You take a swing and you hit a home run on your first one. It like the mindset and like the psychology of that is a lot to get used to, because you think everything you're going to touch is going to turn to gold. But do you know what? Now looking back at that time, it's almost as if, it's kind of weird to say, but I kind of wish that I didn't win my first ever trade, or my first ever investment, because it kind of put the wrong ideas in my head. I don't know if you have ever experienced something similar.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The first time that I got involved into Forex, I put $100 into the broker. Back in the days, it was this broker called Forex Broker Inc. They're no longer doing business. I don't know what happened. But I put my first $100 on it, and I turned into like 200 or something. I was like, wow, I mean, this is crazy. But then, I started losing, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? So I was like, it was so easy my first one, and why is everything, turning around? So I started losing money, winning money, losing money, and I started looking into different strategies. Like people were talking about, supply and demand. They were talking about moving averages. They were talking about support and resistance, Fibonacci, all the stuff. So and the more that I felt that the more that I was learning, the more that I was losing, because I had to go back to the basics of how I started, So for me, in my experience, I felt that, for some time I learned too many strategies and I got confused, and I feel that, a lot of traders, they're looking for the holy grail, and it really, there's not a really a holy grail. It's just the way that you see the market, because you can see the market differently. I can see the market differently, but at the end of the day, we both can win or we both can lose. There's really not a strategy that, is the holy grail. It's just the way that your perspective to the market, so.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, I remember like, as I say, like, when I started trading and started investing, like that first win for me was great. I made some money, but in the long term, like I kind of had to learn the hard way. And it was like when I won, I didn't know what I did that meant that I won. Was it just luck? Was it something else? And when I lost, I had no idea why I was losing, because I was just completely all over the place. So like that start of the journey for me was really, really important to get that sorted. But yeah, I mean, as you say, like one strategy out there to rule them all, I don't think so. I mean, for me, as I say, like you can go long on a currency pair and I can go short at the same time, and we both can win and we both can lose. It just depends on like the time. There's so many different variables within Forex, especially like I can go short, you can go long. I'm trading a higher time frame, you're trading a lower time frame, because I'm a big indicator guy. That's the way I've always done it myself, like back testing, indicators. I never really was part of the price action crowd or something like that. I never really did naked charts. Like the way I've always rolled is indicators, and I'm just getting started. I feel like I tested so many indicators, but I'm getting there slowly. But as I say, like it's the thing with Forex is the fact that we can just all have different approaches. We all can have different ways of doing things, but we all can have success in different ways. We're all trying to get to that end goal, the freedom and the money and whatever. Exactly. But the fact is like I can do it in such a different way to you, and we still can both be successful, and that's like the most amazing thing in the world.
Exactly, and when it comes to Forex or trading, there's really there's not really right or wrong. It's just like you said, different variables. When you get in the market, are you trading London, are you trading New York, are you trading Asia? It doesn't really matter. It's just the way that you see it and the way whatever you use. Like you say, you use indicator. Myself, I use price action with higher time frame. Correlation and structure and all the stuff. My trading is pretty simple. I used to complicate it too much, but nowadays it's just, I'm an intraday trader, so I come in and out of the market. I'm in within the day. I'm out by the next day, or I get out on the same day. And some people can swing the market, and stay there for a week. They're gonna win. I'm gonna win. That's the beautiful thing when it comes to Forex.
Yeah, sure, 100%. I mean, that's just the amazing thing. I've always loved I've always kept myself busy, because trading is just a part of my income and part of my lifestyle in general. Like I know people like yourself, I'm sure you've got a lot of other things going on in your life. You know, you got to keep a healthy lifestyle, you got to go to the gym, you got to go shopping, you got to take care of your family. So the thing for me, like, I always trade the daily time frame. That's usually what I go for. And some people, especially newer traders, I find, they think I'm crazy for trading the daily. You know, they think I've gone mad. You know, it's too slow, it's something else. But actually, I spend must be like half an hour tops every day just trading the charts. I look at the charts. If I don't have a signal, I don't go, because when you only got one candle to look at every day, you don't need to be at your charts all day long. So the daily time frame works really well for me and my lifestyle. But as I say, and as we just discussed, like, the beauty of that is the fact that it can fit around you, really. Trading, like, you can morph it into something that fits around you. You shouldn't ever fit your life around trading. You should try and do the opposite. Try and take the life you've got now, especially when you just start, and find ways to make it work. There's no, when it comes to time, if you can find 10 minutes a day to trade, 15 minutes a day to trade, maybe the daily time frame's for you. And that's what I found out, especially when I started. Now going on like a couple of years, I've got a bit more time to trade, but I don't know, I still like to have the flexibility. I like to just, if I'm having success trading the daily time frame and it only takes me 10, 15 minutes a day, then that's what I'm going to do, you know? And I think we're spoiled as well, because I'm in London, you're in America, but in London, you wake up in the morning, you've got the London session, then it's the New York session, and you even can trade a little bit of the Asian session if you're up late enough in the evening. So like, we're definitely spoiled in London, because we have access to like the three major sessions pretty much. But I know over in the States it's probably a bit different, because you're probably sleeping when we're trading in the morning in the London session. So we're very, very lucky to be in London, in the fact that we have access to all those different trading sessions because of the time zones we're in. So that's something really cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That is something that I struggle a lot, at the beginning. Because I'm in Pacific time, so our times for trading, they are horrible, horrible, horrible. Like I analyze them the day before or the right before I'm going to trade. Like I start on the 4 hour time frame, so I look at the 4 hour time frame, see what they're doing, see what's going to happen, and I start trading like around 9 or 10, 11 p.m. That's when I found Blufx. Blufx, I have to trade after 10 p.m. my time. So I was like, okay, this is going to work out for me, because that's the same time that I trade anyway. So after, 10 p.m. Pacific time, I look at the chart, see what's going to happen. Back in the days, I would stay up all London. So I would be up from 11 all the way to like 6 in the morning.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and so New York will start, and New York starts in my time. New York starts around 5 and it ends like around 8 a.m. So after 8 a.m., the market's pretty much dead. So I just stopped trading. So before, back in the days, I would stay up all night long, because I like you say, like a lot of people, a lot of new traders, they put the time around trading, and it's supposed to be the other way around. You need to put your time, whenever you have time that you go to trade, not whenever there is trading available, then you have to make up a time, So for me, what I find out is I'd rather just be sleeping now and then just let my trade play out, So I was like, why am I staying up so much time? It's like back in the days I had to work, and I would still stay up all London and New York trading, because I was scalping most of the time. And I just, as I was learning, I kind of find my style when it comes to price action. I just wake up, go to work back in the days, and just start trading after 10, go to sleep, wake up at 6 a.m. It's either it hit my take profit or hit my stop loss, So it was one or the other, but it kind of worked out, because my risk to reward, it was always 1 to 2, 1 to 3. So, that's kind of how I do it now. I don't really stay up anymore. I enjoy my time sleeping, and then I enjoy my day. I go to the gym and, do what I gotta do. Look at the investments, the real estate and things like that. So, a lot of traders, what I would recommend is, find a time that you're more comfortable trading. If you want to trade Asia, just trade Asia. If you want to trade London, just trade London. New York, only New York. Don't try to mix and match and try to find the holy grail, because there's really not there's really not a time to trade. It's just whenever there's volume, which is London and New York, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, like we when it comes to forex being 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, you really do have that access sort of whenever you want. You want to trade where there's a volume, and obviously that usually comes with the London and the New York sessions. But even someone like yourself, you're in Pacific time, you know, you've made it work for yourself, and you've obviously found some success, and you've obviously found a way that fits around you. Like, people get this misconception with trading that you need to be like at your charts like a zombie, like staring at the screen, you're not moving. But for me, like, I'm lucky to live in London and I have access to the London session. However, I'm not sat on my charts any more than 10-15 minutes a day, so like for me it's really important in that sense as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question, let's move on. I've got another question for you here. Something that's really important, actually, something that definitely gives some value to the newer traders, is what has been your biggest challenge to becoming more successful as a trader?
My biggest challenge is to unlearn to learn, So I learned everything that I had learned before, try to mix the strategies, as I was mixing Fibonacci, I was mixing with, moving averages. Then I was mixing it with supply and demand. It's like all this stuff, harmonics, it's like I learned all that. Like I know too much about trading that I had to unlearn and then go back to the basics, What is the market doing? What is going to do? So I will look at, on the 4-hour time frame, is it making higher lows? Is it making lower highs or lower lows? If it is, then go to a smaller time frame and look for entry, and then just wait. I have worked on my patience so much. So a lot of people, when it comes to trading, is the moment that they sit is that they're looking for a trade already. It's instead of waiting for the setup, because as everybody knows, well, not the new traders, but as seasonal traders know, is they will always go for the stop hunts. It's like they will take you out before they go your way. And that's a lot of things that I struggle with. They will take me out and they will go my way, and I will be so mad, and I will try to learn something else. It's like, just stick to your plan and just, have a good risk to reward, But my biggest challenge has been to unlearn everything that I have learned throughout the years, So.
Yeah, sure. I think it's one of those things, like, as you say, I mean, my friend and colleague Atlas, who works with me at Blufx, you guys might know him if you listen to the podcast, he is always saying, and it's something I've caught on to as well, like, trading is the best self-development tool. And it's really interesting you mentioned, like, patience as well, like how if you're able to commit yourself to trading in a way, and you're consistent with your trading, and it will really develop you as a character. You get to be more patient, you get to be more disciplined, and like, you find sometimes with strategies, you need to give them the time to sort of work. You can't expect to win every trade on any strategy. So it's like, yeah, I mean, for me, it was like the way I learned trading. I sat a trading course here in London. I'm not bashing the course or anything by any means. It might work for some people, but the way I was taught how to trade, like, it's kind of very one-dimensional to teach a whole class of people one style of trading, because it's not going to work the same way as it is for me, as it is for you, because we've got different lifestyles with different people. They can handle emotion better than I can, or vice versa. So the way I learned to trade originally, I realized after giving it a good 6 months of trying that it just didn't suit me, and I wasn't having the progress that I wanted. So I had to really, as you say, like, unlearn what I'd learned, go back to basics, and sort of build my own strategy from there. And as I said before, like, I'm an indicator guy. A lot of my stuff is based on data. I back test things, and I can see in front of me clear as day if it works or if it doesn't work. And I have, I test one indicator, 5 different currency pairs. It takes a long time, and it's not much fun. I can, promise you that it's not a lot of fun, but it is rewarding when you can sort of you build a strategy. You have to sort of unlearn what you've learned already and sort of build that strategy again from scratch, and that's like such a cool thing. Sort of, you've got your own strategy, it's your own, and it doesn't belong to anybody else. You might trade very similarly to some other people, but it's your strategy, you've built it, and you're getting the results from it. But it's interesting how you say, like, to unlearn what you've learned already, because I feel like I've been on a very similar journey to that as well. And I feel like some people can commit so much to something only to find out in the future that this didn't quite work. But that is the most crucial point where you need to go back to the drawing board, try and try and try again, and you will have that success eventually if you put the time in and if you're willing enough to, take a couple of failures in the name of long-term success. It's not always... Trading is very hard, right? Trading is a very hard thing to do. But the people who are the most successful are the people who've done it the longest and have that discipline and commitment to keep trying and trying and trying until they find that successful thing. And nothing's ever perfect, and you have to be realistic. But when you've got a working strategy and it works, it's like the most blissful thing in the world. Then you can just trade it, and you can just adjust it every now and again a little bit. But you know that it works, and you know that it works and it's going to perform, and that's that. You've got your strategy. But yeah, interesting. Unlearning stuff. That's an interesting take. I'll move on to the next question. Now, obviously, at Blufx, we fund traders who are ready to trade, traders who have come to us. They know how to trade. They know what they're doing, but they just lack the capital. That's what we do here at Blufx, as you know, of course. But as the viewers might not know, we fund people here, and we obviously deal with a lot of not beginner traders, but people who are newer in the markets and they're ready to trade, but they're looking for that level of funding. What advice would you give that person to join Blufx today? They're joining right now, and what advice would you give them to have success with us as a company?
Well, that's what I was advised to people, joining Blufx is, take your time. One thing that has worked for me in Blufx is the time constraint that you guys, place on traders, because you're pretty much forced to trade when there is volume, because you guys, I feel that you guys want people to, make money. A lot of platforms, they let you trade at whatever times you want. It's like, if you want to trade Asia, go ahead and trade Asia. Asia is very slow. You're going to lose money regardless. And I feel that Blufx is like, it's forcing you to wait at a certain time right before there's the volume, so that way you can become disciplined. So for me, Blufx have made me more disciplined when it comes to trading, that I know I have to come by 10 p.m. every single day and look at the markets and see what's going to happen. So anybody that is looking to join Blufx, I will advise them to, be patient when it comes to trading. Don't try to look for things that, are not there. If there's no trade, don't trade it. Don't risk the account.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people, they just want to trade, and trading is not really like that. Trading is, I would say, is a business, and you have to show up at the same time every single day, and just do the best analysis you can, and then just trust yourself. Trust yourself, and like Blufx have paid me. A lot of people, they feel that they blame either the brokers or they blame the prop firms, because they feel that they make it hard, but it's not really, that you guys are making it hard. Like, you guys are making actual traders be more disciplined when it comes to, trading. So I would just say, just be disciplined, show up at the same time every single day. Don't look for things that are not there. If there's no setup, there is no trade, and just come on the next day. So Blufx, I think, is one of the best companies that I work with. I have other prop firms that I work with, and I have I manage money as well. So, and I found that I've become a lot more profitable with everything after I started Blufx, to be honest.
Well, that's definitely good to hear. I mean, the thing with Blufx, I've joined the team relatively recently, just at the end of last year, November, and the way I see Blufx and the way I saw it was just like this. It's an ultra simplified version. We get rid of all the unnecessary stuff, all the trading matrices, the tests, that sort of stuff. We simply say to people that if you can pay the subscription fee, we're going to give you the capital, and we just let people, we've got a solid system behind us, and there's a reason for everything. If you've ever questioned, why we offer the leverage we do, or why we only offer trading in certain hours, there's a reason for that, and we have the data to show that that's when people are most profitable, or it's part of an overall risk structure. And I'm glad that you appreciate that too. Even being over in the States and stuff, it's really interesting to hear that you have the same sort of level of success that we can hope for our traders, really. But that's the thing with Blufx. Like, we just want people just to be profitable. We just want people to be profitable. That's what we want. We want them to be profitable. It works for both of us, and we want our traders to have exactly the best possible chances of doing that. So that's a really important thing. I've got one last question, Mark, if you don't mind. We're going to give you the last follow-up question of where do you see yourself with trading in the next 5 years? What do you think is possible in your life, and what do you think, how will trading help you do that?
Well, in the next 5 years, I'm pretty sure I will be managing, a couple $1 million accounts. My goal with Blufx in the next 6 months is to reach the $1 million that you guys, offering as well. So the next 6 months, I want to work towards that for the $1 million. But in the next 5 years, I see myself, either having my own management accounts, or managing millions of dollars for private. So that's pretty much what I like to do. Honestly, like I really like when it comes to managing money, because you're not really risking your own capital, and Blufx, give everybody the opportunity to not risk their own capital. If you're profitable, you will make money. That's bottom line. So, and to become profitable, you have to, learn pretty much the basics. Just like I said, show up at the same time. Trust your strategy and things like that. So, in the next 6 months, I'm looking forward to be managing you guys $1 million accounts. In the next 5 years, most likely, I will still be trading because I love trading. Pretty much teach my son how to trade. He knows a little bit about trading, and he's barely 9, so he understands the basics. Yeah, so I've been teaching him little by little. It's not something that he's passionate about, but once he sees the money, I'm pretty sure he will be very.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can only wish that my dad taught me about trading when I was 9. Like, I started when I was like 15, 16, and to have that sort of influence now, like, and trading is such a growing thing. It's such a growing industry.
Yes.
And it's good to see that people like yourself, you've had some success with trading, and now you're passing it on to the younger generations. That's really, really good to see, because trading is no longer this super exclusive club where only the best of the best on Wall Street can trade. No, like, anybody can trade. Mm-hmm. You need the capital. That's obviously where we come in at Blufx, and many other prop firms do it. But as I say, like, it's such an amazing space to be in right now, especially in the light of this pandemic as well. Like, trading, so many more people have come switched on to trading and investing and looking after their finances. Like, last year was a massive wake-up call for so many different people about their finances, about their security of income, about where their money comes from at the end of the month. People like yourself with businesses and things like that, and you've got money coming from here, money coming from there, you're fine. But the people who rely on one source of income, just a traditional job, unfortunately, like, it's a tough year for a lot of people last year. And I'm so glad to see that people have come and switched on to being more financially free and having multiple sources of income, because it protects you in things like that, because you wouldn't, it's one of those things. My dad always said, it's fine until it's not fine. It works. You get paid at the end of the month. You pay the bills.
Yeah.
And then the day that stops happening, then you're in big trouble. So yeah. It's good to see. And I'm really glad to see you passing on the knowledge to your son as well. That's good to see. At 9 years old, it's a good time to start. I think that's a good news.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I will encourage, all the parents out there, that are traders, like, teach the young generation, because later on, there might not even be jobs. Everything might be just digital, and everything might just be online. And that, you gotta be prepared, because I feel the trading is not going anywhere. There might be new ways of trading, like cryptocurrency, came just a few years ago, and now it's a big thing going on. If you learn trading, guess what? You can make money on crypto. Like, you can, make money on whatever else comes in, you know. So it's like you gotta learn trading. Like you can't be stuck into thinking a 9 to 5 it's gonna just, you know, that's just to get you by, you know. And I'm not bashing any jobs, you know. Like I'm grateful that I had a job, I had money, you know, to take care of my family back in the days. But you know, trading has just changed, you know, everything completely, you know. Like I told you, you know, before, like I'm a very reserved person, you know. Like I kind of just keep it everything low key for myself, you know. And that's what I like to do, you know. And before, back in the days, I was teaching a lot of people trading, but I found that, you know, a lot of people, they think the trading is just this quick money thing that you're gonna become a millionaire one day to another, you know. So I kind of stopped doing that and then just got to the basics for me, and then try to make it work for me, and then, you know, I can teach whoever wants to learn. I'm not teaching, by the way, so I'm just, you know, like I told you, like my son, like he's barely 9, he's learning trading, you know. Like I'm teaching him the basics and things like that. But definitely the capital, you know, you need it, to be honest. Back in the days, $100 you can blow that in one day, you know. And when it comes to Blufx, having the capital for traders, I think that's like the best thing that has happened, you know, recently. Because I recently found about prop firms, you know, last year. I didn't know anything about them, and you know, I found you guys a couple months ago. And you know, I always tell people, my friends, family, you know, just, you know, get funded, because that's the only way that you can speed up the process, you know.
Sure. It's one of those things, like the capital is one of the biggest things for anybody when they come to trading, like to find that money to trade with, that you know, as a company, we take that risk for you. You know, our traders aren't liable for any losses, and that sort of, it washes away so much of the negative psychological aspects you have about fearing losing money. You know, I've spoken about it before in some of the YouTube content that I've done. There's people are genuinely scared about losing anything. You don't lose your girlfriend, your wife, you don't lose your money, you don't lose anything. And that's the whole point. I mean, this sort of psychology that we're taught, it's very hard to get over. So to have someone say, look, trade and we'll take on the losses for you and the profits will split, that's a great thing for a lot of people. But as I say, Marco, it's been fantastic to have you on the show. The first episode of our podcast, there's plenty more coming on the way. Marco, you've been a brilliant interviewee. Thank you for some great answers to our questions. But anything you want to say in parting?
You know, I just wanna say thank you to Blufx. You know, you guys been amazing. Whenever I have a question, you guys are always there. You know, I barely find you guys, and I think you guys will become one of the best prop firms without challenges and things like that. So I definitely recommend anybody that is looking for capital. You know, I think Blufx is what you need, because you need the capital to trade, and you can speed up the process a lot faster than just trading $100 accounts. To be honest, you know.
That's the thing, and obviously, when you get funding, and you don't need to be. I mean, to turn $100 into 1,000, you've got to be a very good trader. You know, you've got to 10x that money. You've got to be very lucky, or very just, it's a luck, and you have to completely throw any risk management completely out the window, because you can't make a decent income of $100 in the trading markets. You need to be able to have a, you know, $25,000, $50,000 account to even scratch the surface. So because you get funded, you're able to manage your risk properly. It's a great solution for everybody. But again, thank you for being on the show, and we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Take care.